Hi, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. Hope everyone's doing well. Really do. So, again, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe and give it a thumbs up if you like. Let me know if you have any comments or suggestions or anything like that. So, I had to do a video on. So, I'm sure many of you have heard about the Maui fires that occurred over there. So, real quick to point out, because there's been, well, where to start? Okay, so with anything, there is always speculation. I think speculation is great. I think it's healthy. It can be. I think it's necessary to question for truth and what the truth is and where it comes from and that sort of thing. But I also think there's an unhealthy way to go about doing it. So there's nothing wrong with asking questions, but I think we got to be careful how it's done. And it has to be done in a manner that doesn't involve anything but the truth, really. So now, I think the vast majority of people would agree that they understand what caused these fires. And now I did ask some questions. I did some channeling sessions and asked exactly what the cause of the fires were. It is literally what it is. So from what I heard, it is, the ideas, and this is probably about a couple weeks ago, actually, but the answers I heard were, hurricane winds, things like hurricane winds, the fast winds and everything, power lines, like downed power lines. And there were some dry conditions as well at the time in the islands, unfortunately, which really lent to the fire spreading fast. Plus a faulty response and a less than perfect containment and response as well. These were basically what caused the fires and the damage. So basically, meaning fundamentally. And that's what's been reported, and that's what's slowly coming out, So there's been a lot of questions as to what caused it. And like with anything, the process of answering questions, and I understand especially the people that are going through that too, it could be traumatic, and everybody wants to know what the truth are. But there's a lot of videos out there that just take it too far, I think. And I think it's a fringe minority. I hope it is anyways. But there's some videos that have been disproven, by the way. Some of them say that, like, Tom Hanks and Oprah started the fires so they could buy land. Okay. Forrest Gump did not burn down Maui so he could buy land. They said they used space lasers. There's been videos that show, like, pictures of lasers and rockets, which are older and come from different stories and websites. That's been disproven. So there's people out there going around taking pictures and things like that, just making stuff up. I don't know if it's just for clicks or if it's for likes, but it's purposeful, and I think that's dangerous, and I think it's stupid. So I came across another video that I wanted to share specifically, and I understand, because I want to know what the truth is too. I think everybody does. But if you really watch some of these videos and really listen to what they're saying, they're full of crap. It's either faulty or bad journalism, if you can even call it that, or reporting. It is faulty and it's bad. Now the question is it bad on purpose? And are they just throwing out random things just to draw in subscribers and likes? Or are they just bad and stupid at what they do? And I don't know. Either way, it's dangerous. Could be a combination of both. But it's really, really infuriating sometimes to me. And, I want to take one of these videos and kind of walk through it. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. If you really watch and listen, bit by bit, and, piece it together, they're just blatantly lying, or they make no sense whatsoever. And this example, and channel too. There's many like it, and it's just like the titles are completely false. The information in the stories are completely false, and I think it's important to point this out and push back against this narrative. I think it's stupid, and I've even seen people who say they're from Hawaii or in Maui and they're living there, and they see these stories, and they're like, just leave it alone, like knock it off. We're over here dealing with this, and it literally is what it is. So stop with the crazy theories and like all this crap. So let me show you this one story as a perfect example. Okay, so here's one of the videos I was talking about. This is just a perfect example of how things are misrepresented, sometimes blatantly, sometimes very cleverly, and to, I think, lead the viewer to think a certain thing, or maybe they don't even care. Maybe they don't have a narrative that they're trying to push here. It's just a matter of getting likes for their stupid channel down here. So, and they have a bunch of crap like this if you go on that channel specifically. The title here, so what this has to do, so The Rock, Johnson and Oprah started a fund for Maui victims. They announced it on August 31st. And they just kicked in $5 million to get that started. And just long story short, the money is meant to go directly to them, meaning it's just money, cash, not anything else, just whatever they need that money for, just to assist. Okay, so that's the general. Now this is Jason Momoa exposes Oprah and The Rock's evil Maui donation scam. So there's nothing evil about wanting to help people. And there's people with their own opinions about, they have money, they should help more. I don't know. I don't have $10 million lying around to help people, so it's better than doing nothing. So that's a whole nother video, I think, that I don't want to get into here. But, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think it's great they're helping. That's all that matters. It's better than nothing. That's a whole other conversation. The point of this is just to kind of point out these stupid videos. So he doesn't expose anything. And then, so just based on this title, you would expect two things. Oh, if I click on this and watch it, I'll see how Jason exposes them and their evil Maui donation scam. I should understand at the end of this video that it's a scam and why it's evil and how he exposes it. None of that is proven in this video. It even contradicts itself at certain points. But let's just take a look. So he did this, I think, back on August 16th. This was 2 weeks before they even announced their donation fund. So, and some people could be saying, well, maybe he had, foreknowledge of it. No, because that's not what he's talking about in this video that they're using as proof. So some people on Instagram pretending to be me asking for money. Oprah and The Rock never pretended to be Jason Momoa asking for donations. This is totally separate. He's talking about people who literally were pretending to be him to get donation to help for the victims in Maui. And he's warning people against that. He didn't say Oprah and Rock were doing that, and that's what the scam was. So let's just watch a little bit. You see what I mean here?
Asking for money. Pure evil, in my opinion.
So we have created the people.
See how tricky that was? They started out the video with him saying pure evil. Okay, he's talking about the people pretending to be him, collecting for this, and then like scammers. Like with any tragedy, there's always scammers, unfortunately. He said, be careful of that. It's not me. These people are evil. And then they segue immediately into the video that The Rock and Oprah did. Okay, so they use that keyword evil, and that connects it to this. And here they are. Let's just watch a bit of their video.
People's Fund of Maui that will put money directly in the hands of the people who need it right now. So if you send a donation.
Oprah has increasingly come under backlash following her actions after the Maui fire outbreak. And now it looks like even Jason Momoa has pile on. If you recall, the TV host got Dwayne Johnson to send what people are calling a phony SOS for money online. And this was the same Dwayne Johnson that said this about the fires.
See how they did that too? Okay, that's really tricky. So they just they're talking in general here and saying, how they asked, they The Rock and Oprah started doing these donations, and then here's what they say. I rewound it a little bit.
Recall, the TV host got Dwayne Johnson to send what people are calling a phony SOS for money online.
They said Oprah got The Rock to send a phony help signal or SOS for donations online. And
this was the same Dwayne Johnson that said this about the fires.
And then she goes on to say, this is the same Rock who had this to say. Like, Oprah got him to go along with her scam. And members, this is what the host is saying. This is the same Rock who said this.
Complete destruction and devastation that has hit our Hawaiian Islands, our island of Maui. And I'm completely heartbroken over this.
Okay. So what? That was a good, heartfelt statement that he was sharing to people, about his feelings on the situation. How does his comments have anything to do with the scam? Or what's Jason Momoa exposing here? Nothing. They're just stringing together a bunch of clips, actual clips that are people that feel bad about what happened and are trying to help, and are turning it into this narrative that just does not exist. And you can Google it online. These sorts of videos are all on these lowbrow clickbait crap channels that do this kind of thing. So there's nothing on any major news network or anyone saying, it's a big scam and this sort of thing. So, and even if you're still thinking like, well, you know what, that's the way they want it, and you're still kind of a conspiracy theorist, just pick through these videos and watch how little sense they make.
With all of this, it's not really surprising seeing Jason being angry that these people seem to now be deceitfully using his name to advocate for financial support from regular people who aren't as wealthy as celebrities like Johnson and Oprah.
See how they're doing that? They say, of course he's angry that people are using his. Of course he is. He was angry about it and said it was pure evil on his website, but he didn't say The Rock and Oprah were using his name. See how they kind of just how they put these things in order without they say certain things and expect your mind to fill in the gaps. And but if you really listen, it's just a bunch of facts and then things that are misrepresented all placed on this video. So it kind of makes sense if you don't really read between the lines.
There's been some people on Instagram pretending to be me, asking for money.
The Aquaman star felt compelled to use his Instagram platform to alert his followers about scammers who are deceitfully soliciting money from fans under the pretense of supporting the Maui wildfire disaster relief efforts. In a video message, he disclosed that imposters on social media have been impersonating him, fraudulently requesting funds purportedly for donation to Maui. He said, "It's deeply heartbreaking and disgusting to know that there are people attempting to take advantage of this tragedy. There's a growing sentiment among..."
All true, but remember, he's not talking about Oprah and The Rock's evil scam.
Among some individuals, questioning why wealthy megastars like billionaires would seek financial contributions from the public. Speculation has arisen, suggesting that they may have ulterior motives behind their appeals for money from ordinary people.
Everything that I've seen transpire over these past couple of days, everything that continues to transpire, hour by hour, minute by minute, it's all heartbreaking.
Furthermore, upon closer examination of the situation.
Anyway, let's skip that. So I'm trying to turn up the volume button here. Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm sorry. This might help.
Situation, it appears that both celebrities may be engaging in deceptive practices with the Maui community and individuals who are contributing funds under the belief that they are supporting Jason.
There. See? First, she said there's speculation that these two, The Rock and Oprah, are, what were exact words? Let's listen.
Under the belief that they are supporting Jason.
No, not that, but that's important too.
It appears that both celebrities may be engaging in deceptive practices with the...
May be engaging in deceptive practices in the Maui community. That's all they say. She's just throwing that out there. There's no proof of that. Speculation. Anybody can speculate about anything. So by going on there and saying people are speculating about this and that, like anyone, you can literally, that's the problem with conspiracy theories sometimes, you can make stuff up. And, but Watch what she does here next. She says there's speculation, that Rock and Oprah are deceiving the people of Maui. And then she says,
and individuals who are contributing funds under the belief that they are supporting Jason.
and people that are contributing funds under the belief they are supporting him. These two facts, the first one's not even a fact about them being deceptive. Notice how she said that in the same sentence. Those two are being deceptive, and people believing that the money they're giving to Jason actually goes to them. Or, that the money they're giving to him is not going to him. See how she said that? And she's kind of connecting those two when the first one's not even a fact. The second one, he was upset about people pretending to be him, but people that were pretending to be him. And, he doesn't want people losing their money that's going towards a scam. But he never called these two out specifically.
In response to this, Jason seems to have publicly labeled them as scammers and issued a cautionary message.
Yes, he did. Those people as scammers. Never once, you can Google it, did he call out Oprah and Rock as scammers. But you see how she's doing that? She's like, he labeled these people as scammers. Yeah, but he's not talking about them.
Advising people to refrain from making donations to any unauthorized sources unless explicitly recommended by him.
Do not make donations to any unauthorized sources unless explicitly recommended by him. Remember that, okay? And I'll show you why.
I am posting and reposting as much as possible to the proper places you can donate, but I am not reaching out to anyone.
Jason has firmly stated that he would never seek assistance or make outreach efforts through Instagram or any other platform. He emphasizes this point, questioning the need for him to reach out personally when he has already provided legitimate channels through which people can contribute donations to support the fire victims.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has given ideas to people. This is where it gets ridiculous. So they're saying, he's actually provided legitimate ways that you can donate. Keep that in mind. Okay. So this channel is saying, you know what? He's calling Rock and Oprah scammers. He never did. He's saying, be careful who you donate to, which he did. And he said, I'll give you, what did they say? Something along the lines, or you can rewind it, but just only contribute to legitimate, I'll give you legitimate names. Like, don't donate directly to me through Instagram. I don't do that. I'll give you the proper channels to donate through. So here's the original Oprah and Rock announcement. This was on August 31st. It was 2 weeks after he posted this whole thing about people pretending to be him. Remember, there's no connection there. And the whole title was, he exposes their evil plan, and he's calling them scammers, basically, is what they're trying to make you think. And he's like, pure evil, don't donate to anybody unless, if it's me, don't do it. I'll let you know who to donate to. Remember, this was done on August 31st. This is Jason Momoa's official Instagram page. Pride of Gypsies, it's called. There he is right there. So, look what he did. You guys, on September 1st, the day after, remember these two posted this on August 31st. The very next day, he posted a guide to People's Fund of Maui. He said earlier today, the very next day, Oprah Winfrey and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson announced the People's Fund of Maui. He supports their efforts. Okay, he's not saying it's evil. The very ones that he's, the video saying, Jason said, I'll let you know who to donate to. Well, look who he's telling you to donate to, The Rock and Oprah. So this whole video is just absolute crap. Okay, so there you go. I don't even want to show you the rest of the video. It's more of the same stuff, and you can check it out on those channels if you want to. And there's a variety of channels like that, and they talk about all kinds of, if you watch, they do the same thing with like Tom Hanks and Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves hasn't even said anything much from last I checked on the Maui fires, let alone called out any of them for scams or anything like that. So, anyways, there's the information, and of course, watch it, have your form your own opinion, of course. I think, like I said, it's great to seek the truth, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. But in certain cases, I think there's a best way to go about doing it, presenting information. In a case like this, when it's tricky, it's done either. I don't know. I don't think it's done on purpose. Maybe it is. I don't. From the feeling I get is that it's just bad tabloid crap reporting, and they don't care what they put out there. They sensationalize things in order to get more views and counts, and therefore ad revenue and money. I think channels like these really aren't out there, and I think that goes without saying. They've been around a long time, tabloid journalism. Now it's tabloid YouTube videos, where you just take a bunch of stuff and either just outright contradict yourself or don't point on the facts or don't do your research. Channels like this do all the above. There was another one, a video where it literally said, well, Oprah, she's not on the ground talking to people, so it was another Oprah scams everybody video, literally within like the same next like 5 or 10 seconds. And then her tone changed completely. She said, well, Oprah, she's not even there, and people are saying she's not even on the ground talking to people. And then she goes, Oprah has generously donated $5 million of her money and is on the ground in Maui speaking to people in person. I was like, what? She literally said that right after she said the other thing. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, some of these things don't even make sense. They're contradicting themselves in their own sentences. And anyways, I just think it's crap reporting. I think watching these sorts of things are fine, but if you have to watch them with a careful eye and listen and see what they're doing to kind of pick through the garbage, I think channels like this are a complete disservice, and they stir the pot. And I want to push back against this sort of thing because I think we should minimize and mitigate false information for whatever the agenda is, whether it's money or you're trying to create a false narrative or whatever it is. I don't even know how they can't be sued for slander or libel in some cases like this, but for whatever reason, it's not a good thing, I don't think. So one more point I wanted to make is some of the legitimate backlash, that kind of goes outside the realm of conspiracy theories. Is there really the only valid sort of negative feedback I've been seeing online about helping with the Maui fires? Oprah and Rock in particular, for example, is and has gotten some traction. If you Google it, people are saying, you're rich. Why are you asking us for money? We're the poor ones. Why don't you donate? So they did. They each kicked in $5 million. I know it's not a large percentage of what they have. I mean, I don't have $5 million, but do you? And that's my point. But with the other perspective, it's like they did kick in. $10 million, that's a lot to get it going. So, what's your definition of what's enough? Are they supposed to sell everything they have and give it to each person? So, how much is enough? They're starting the fund for 12. Who's to say they're not going to donate more later? And they said, go ask your rich friends. Maybe they are. It's only been a week. Give it some time. But why sit there and criticize this sort of thing? So I did the math, which is kind of interesting. So there's approximately 16 to 17,000 people, I believe, affected by the fires that are of adult age that are eligible to receive money from the People's Fund of Maui. So they personally funded enough to, it's $1,200 per month to get at least roughly half of that number checks, $1,200 for 1 month. That's how much the $10 million will fund. So, and that's if, that's not to say, I did the whole population of the affected areas and anyone over 18. So it's about 16 to 17,000. So that's not even necessarily people who were affected by the fire. That's the full number. Maybe that's how they got those numbers, but they funded at least enough for about half of that, for about maybe 8 to 9,000 people to get $1,200 for 1 month. But let's say, that's not enough for you. So were they supposed to donate like 20 million? to cover everybody, the full population, the full 16,000, 17,000 people for a month. And if it's, $20 million a month to do that, then, what are they supposed to do? Like, how long is enough? Because the fund is supposed to run as long as the money's needed. It says on their website. So it's not like a 6-month thing. It could go a year. So what do you want them to do? Donate $240 million? Would that make you happy? Like, there's people out here criticizing, 240 would cover the full population that's possibly affected for up to a year. So, and you're like, yeah, they should do that. Well, who are you to say that? It doesn't matter. It does matter. I think it was a gesture how much they give. But $10 million is a lot. $5 million out of each of their pockets. They're giving to other causes. They have other things going on. I mean, look at it with a wider mind, a little bit of a bigger heart. Don't be so bitter when people are trying to do the right thing. And how much is, it's not your money. How much is enough for you? It's not for you to say. So, but if you do the math, it's interesting. Like, I mean, how much do you want them to spend before it's okay by you? So the thing is, they're getting the word out there, and they're one of many charities, and they're not the only one. People are mad saying, well, I can't, they're asking all the people that are poor and going through inflation, in America here, and they're the ones with money. They're getting the message out there. If you can't help, if you don't have money, don't do it. Okay? But don't complain and don't be bitter, come across as entitled and, like you're the victim here. A lot of people are going through crap too, and a lot of people feel this, the inflation. But don't crucify people for trying to help, people that are in need. So, yeah, we're all aware that, there's inflation and people are having trouble with groceries and rent and, raising their kids and that sort of thing, and gas prices. And they're not asking you. They didn't come out and say, hey, anybody who's undergoing hardships, anybody who's broke and can't afford it, give us your money. That's not what they said. That's not what any charity says. You say that anytime you hear a charity? Like, some restaurants will ask, do you want to round up $1? Or some drugstores will say, you want to round up $1, to donate, or would you like to donate? Do you always say, how dare you? I don't have money to. No. So knock it off, like charities are there to help if you can. If you can't, don't do it. Or if it's not your cause, find another cause. There's a ton of them out there, like food banks. Or if you can't donate time or money, if that's your problem, then go donate time. Or if you don't like donating to charity, whether it's time or money, then don't complain. So like you're not the type of people that really need to be helping in the first place. So it just boggles my mind sometimes, like how people react negatively. And I get it because every once in a while I hear some valid points when I'm reading the comments and see certain things. But overall, just the overall negativity is generally just a little bit irrational and a little bit self-serving. Like, what about me? Like, one lady was even like, you guys fix Maui and then you can come, help us out. You can help me out like all the rest of us. And I'm like, what? So they have to fix everybody's problems and then come help you? So I don't know. And remember, even if you don't have money, you can raise. The point is to get the message out there. Like, there's people in my community, believe it or not, that were out there. They did a canoe row this weekend. I think it was yesterday and today. How people do like runs and marathons. They did a row out in the ocean for Maui, the people of Maui, to raise money. They didn't say they're donating to the People's Fund. I don't even know who they're donating or how, but if you don't have the money, you can get together, if that's your thing, and raise money for it. So there's nothing wrong with Oprah and The Rock out there asking for money and raising awareness. Give it to them or don't, but God, just don't be so bitter about money and everything. It's just like, it's off-putting, and here's an interesting example. So, like I was saying, they'd have to kick in together, combined, to fund the whole fund for all possible affected people, $250 million. So that's a pretty big chunk of money right there. And remember, though, this is just one. There's a ton of charities you could help with, people of Maui. So Um, if they were to fund this thing for, let's see, maybe a few years, they'll be close to going broke after that, So is that what you want? Well, would that make people happy if they funded this thing? So if The Rock, I did the math, if The Rock and Oprah, and it doesn't work like this, just because they're combined, it's roughly about $3 billion they're worth. It's not like that's all cash, like they own businesses and they have, it's tied up in like real estate, or it's not just $3 billion in cash. Okay, but let's say they just magically turn their net worth into $3 billion cash. They could give each person in Maui, I think, like $180,000. The people that live in the affected areas, not even necessarily affected by the fires, because not everybody was. A large majority in those areas were. But so, would that make you happy? If they just went broke, went down to zero, Oprah on The Rock somehow turned everything into pure cash for $3 billion, and then had to start over. So it's just if you look at it that way, it doesn't make sense either. So one final note here. Here's an interesting thought. So there's people out there and they have a ton of money, and a lot of them give back. And the money they have, like say with Bill Gates, he runs Microsoft. He pays people great, and they have great retirement funds, and they have great benefits and great salaries. And he's a large I don't know how much he owns in Microsoft anymore, but he's one of the richest people on the planet, and he's giving a huge chunk of his money away. So before and I'm not trying to compare him to Oprah and The Rock or anybody else, but just numbers wise, when you say 10 million is not enough, you're rich enough. Like, what about us? Think about this. This is just an interesting set of facts to end the video on. So if you take roughly, and these numbers aren't exact, but they're pretty close. I was just looking up. So Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon, Bill Gates, and Warren Buffett, three of the richest people on the planet, who are American, are roughly worth about $400 billion as of right now, which is incredible. All right. So if we take those three, like if they were like, Bill Gates has a ton of different charities he gives to. And, but if he was like, oh, you know what? I'm giving $10 million to, or $5 million to Maui. And you were like, yeah, well, what about us? We can't give. And, help us. You have all the money. Remember, these three men who have $400 billion, that's what they're worth. It's not just sitting in a bank, okay? It's everything. It's their cars, it's their homes, it's their companies. It's all sorts of things it's tied up into. They still have a ton of money and cash probably, but their net worth is not just money in the bank. If it were, for whatever reason, and we took that $400 billion and as cash and handed it out to every American, there's roughly about 331 million Americans. Guess how much we would get? $1,200 each. Like, wow. What are you going to do with that? Is that going to change your life? Like, so people, before people go complaining, just like think about what these numbers mean. And when you say stuff, before you just go bitching about rich people and what they're not doing, they're doing a lot. And not all of them. I'm not saying they're all great, but for context, if we took those three and just took everything they had, we could give every American $1,200. So, but you know what that would also do? That would immediately create over 2 million unemployed people, because that's how many they employ approximately combined. So now you got 2 million people out of work. So now they're going to have to go to unemployment. So now that's going to take its toll on the system. That's a lot of people to just throw out there in the unemployment market. So just so you can have $1,200. So it's easy. What I'm trying to say is to just kind of complain. I do it too. Don't get me wrong, but off the top of our heads, and you hear something, and you're like, oh, blah, blah, rich people and stuff like that. So, but it's also important to know the truth and like contextualize it. So, I don't know. I thought that was an interesting example. So to kind of end on a relevant note here, what happened in Maui, of course, was tragic. Okay, and if you'd like to contribute somehow, either raise money or give money, please do. I think that's great. Or if not, that's great too. A lot of people, maybe you give to other causes or maybe you don't. But at the very least, let's not just go out there and just whip up a storm of crap, and just start making up lies about conspiracy theories and people being evil, and putting information out there, and then starting to complain about people who are out there trying to help, like these rich people. And so at least they're doing something, and that's better than nothing, So, and they're getting the message out there, and which I think is great. Okay, so that being said, in general, everybody's always going to have an opinion, I think, but let's not let things get out of control, and let's try to, as much as we can, rise above negativity and see things with a broader mind and a more open heart, and try not to, stir things up unnecessarily, or at least help each other balance out the variety of views that are out there, and maybe help to temper the overall negativity sometimes that happens in social media a lot. So, and then I think that can only be a good thing. So, thank you for watching. I talked a lot longer than I meant to, but let me know what you think in the comment sections too, and please take care as always, and we'll see you in the next video.